This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
And welcome to the program. I'm Roby Brock. Education in Arkansas always ranks high among resident concerns, and it is one of the biggest price tag items that your government funds. In March, Governor Asa Hutchinson tapped former State Senator Johnny Key of Mountain Home, who once chaired the Senate Education Committee, to be the next Education Commissioner for the state of Arkansas. And he joins me this morning. Welcome. Good to have you with us, and thank you so much for being here.
Than're Roby. Always glad to join you.
You're, what, a whole week on the job now? Or
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks. Yeah. Okay, well, good. Well, I want to hear before we get started, you talked in a press conference where you were named by Asa Hutchinson that you wanted to move more from talking about adequacy, which is where we've been for about the last 10 years in Arkansas, to talking about excellence. Describe for me and for viewers and listeners what your vision for education in Arkansas is going to be.
Well, you're right. Since the Lakeview ruling, the last Lakeview ruling, the one that finally got the legislature really moving towards making the changes that needed to be made, we've been talking about educational adequacy. What does that mean? You know, we've defined it as the 38 credits that you have to teach in high school that we expect you to graduate with. It's the funding to be able to teach those credits, and it is a monitoring system, testing system, to make sure that students are learning. We need to elevate, and I think we started doing that with this legislative session. We need to start talking about excellence, not just in the fundamentals. We want that, we have to have that, but we need to start moving the bar, and Governor Hutchinson really got the bar moving for us when it comes to technology and computer science, coding. His initiative has gotten nationwide attention, so that's exciting to be a part of that. We are right in the middle of beginning the implementation phases of that. But my philosophy is one that says the teachers know best, and we need to build from the ground up. The teachers are right there in the classrooms. We need strong curriculum for the teachers, and we need engaged students. That will drive the excellence that we're seeking.
That is easy rhetoric, though. We need to empower teachers more to do a better job. Well, how do you make that happen, though? I mean, what has to be in place for that to happen?
It seems counterintuitive, but you have to have strong leaders at the district and building levels. Strong leaders are going to empower the teachers to be the ones to have that ground-up approach. We're going to talk about Common Core, but I'll say my observations and examples that I've seen of districts that implemented Common Core, getting teachers involved in the early stages, deciding what worked at the classroom level, instead of having a top-down approach where someone in the central office said, this is how we're going to do Common Core. Those are the districts that have actually seen excellence in making that adjustment. Finding pockets of that, finding examples of that, and expanding that to other parts of the state. That's what we're going to be seeking.
So you're a supporter of Common Core?
I have been a supporter of Common Core, and you know, obviously now we're going to be evaluating that. Lieutenant Governor and the task force
right,
that the governor has appointed, and I've supported it because I really dug into it and I researched it, and so. You know, we'll have, I know we're going to have a lot of discussion about that.
Well, let me pull up some poll numbers here, because we did some survey research for a town hall meeting that you were a participant in earlier this week with K12 Channel 7. We asked about 400 voters statewide, what's the first thing you think of when you hear Common Core? And it was generally some negative comments. It was common, education, math apparently is a negative word in this in Common Core debate, government, and bad. When you ask those same people, though, if they support or oppose the concept of states working together to create and implement some educational standards for K through 12, you find a much different scenario. 74% support that type of situation versus 18% oppose. So has the phrase Common Core become so tainted that you need to kind of pull a private option on it? I mean, do away with the phrase Common Core and find a way to reinvent it.
Other states have attempted that, and with varying levels of success. You know, if you just place another label on it, it may or may not work. I mean, the voters, the people of Arkansas, are pretty smart. They know they want high quality standards. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, that's what the Common Core state standards offer. What I hope comes from the Lieutenant Governor and the task force work that they're going to be doing is how do we make those Arkansas standards that still correlate and give us a strong comparison with the other states?
You have to know that when you walked into this job, you'd be facing a couple of controversies, Common Core being one of them. State takeovers of fiscally and academically distressed schools, that is certainly not an enjoyable thing to have to be in the middle of, a lot of combativeness in that. What did you think when you were taking this job in terms of how you're going to address some of those very difficult issues, and particularly let's talk about takeovers? I mean, how are you approaching the Little Rock School District and some of the other districts that are out there? Good
question, and much of my preparation for coming into those debates happened back in 2003, 2004, when the big debate in education in Arkansas was about consolidation. Mm-hmm. What was the right size for a school district to operate efficiently? A lot of emotions were involved then. A lot of people thought they had lost something. Now we fast forward to 2015, and the same type of emotions, folks in a district that has been taken over by the state feel like they have lost something. We approach that from the standpoint of, one, the Supreme Court has made it clear in a number of decisions that it is the state's responsibility under the Constitution to provide education. We do that by sending that edict on to the local districts, have local governance, and in the cases where the local governance has fallen short, then it is the state's responsibility to step in. You don't think the state can get out of the takeover business if it wanted to, do you? I don't, unless there is some change in the legal precedent that we have now and the standards under which we are operating that have been set for us as the Constitution has been interpreted by the Supreme Court of Arkansas. One of the other polling questions that we looked at dealt with how people feel like K-12 education at the state level is going. Generally pretty much on the wrong track. 51% said they thought it was going in the wrong direction to 35% at the state direction. When you ask those same people to grade their local school district, however, you only find 14% giving their school district at the local level a D or an F. Right. Why that discrepancy, do you think? Well, I think the discussions are very similar to the discussions about Congress and I think Mr. Reed made the comment that people hate Congress in the polls, but they love their congressman. In Arkansas, folks love their local school district. They love their basketball team, their football team, their homeroom teacher, but then they turn on the TV or they open up the newspaper and they see some bad story about some other district, some other place in Arkansas. So their attitude towards Arkansas education is really driven by what they read that's negative in other districts. But case by case, I'd say that most people are really happy with what's going on in their own home district.